Hey everybody, welcome back to The Brosen. We're going to get right to it because as you can see, we have not one but two amazing guests. It is Jordan Roby and Joey Vahedi.
Hey! What up, what up?
No, it is right here is Jordan Roby and right here is Joey Vahedi.
It's hard to tell, especially since
Yes.
they both got the backwards hat today.
We do.
Right.
And the matching black.
I know. Y'all, did you guys plan this?
I just need a rose. I just need to get a little rose right here.
Roby has played the most characters on the show in Chosen history.
It's true.
Is what I would say.
Yeah, so we talked about this during Roby's episode, but we call him King Donkey Boy because he was on the donkey. Did you not know this? We call him King Donkey Boy. It was, season 1 or 2, I guess. He was a student Pharisee. It was when we had the snow apocalypse and none of our background showed up. We were supposed to have like 20 and we had like 8 show up.
Dude.
So we dressed Roby and made him a Pharisee, and he was like featured right there in front. So we called him Student Pharisee number 1. Like that was his role. Then we had like an issue with the donkey. Nobody could ride the donkey for when Z and is it Matthew? They go to find the colt, and somebody jumps on it. It was just an issue getting somebody to jump on the donkey. So Roby took care of that, jumped on there, and then in that same week. He jumped in and doubled for Jorge on the horse, so we called him King Donkey Boy because he was king on the horse, and then he was also on the donkey. And then he filled in for Zebediah once, like shooting over the shoulders because we had an issue with COVID or something.
And then became High Holy King Donkey Boy.
Yeah, High Holy King Donkey Boy. I mean, is that all of them?
This is crazy.
He's made a lot of appearances.
This is the most transformational actor on our show.
and he has filled in for Thomas. We won't say when and where, but he has filled in for Thomas before too.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Do y'all ever just start and just ask like how their day is going? Like, do you ever just
Okay,
start
all right, we'll take we'll redo it. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I like this.
I
I think this is a great intro, honestly.
I thought it was a great intro. We're
just jumping right in.
You're right.
Okay, Joey.
You're right.
Joey, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Doing
man.
well.
So we are currently on a Saturday, and you worked. Did you work all week? You worked.
I worked starting Thursday, so we worked the last 2 days.
2 hot days, right?
Very hot days. Yeah. You guys were out in the heat way more than I was. So
yeah, but we don't have to wear those costumes. I imagine, especially yours. You got like that wool coat, right?
you know what's funny is the costume that I have now that I've had since last season has been the most breathable, soft fabric.
Oh, good.
That I've had during the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
When we've had much worse, hotter days like Feeding of the 5,000, I mean, that stuff is like thick material, not breathable at all, very rough. It feels like those giant 5-pound potato bags, that material, it feels
Burlap.
exactly like,
wow.
like burlap, exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
This has been the week to have it too, to like have the most breathable form because this has been some of the hottest we've ever done.
Yeah. It's, I feel like Feeding of the 5,000 was way hotter just because it's just so many people and there's no cover at all. We were just like completely out in a field with nothing around us. But it was pretty hot this week.
How many sandals have you gone through in your Chosen career?
Only 2, actually.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
So the ones that I have now have the back of the heel closed, where before I didn't have that.
And was that story wise? Because wasn't there a point where Thomas did get new sandals?
Yes,
Wasn't that part
you're
of the
right.
story?
Yeah, in season 4 when
Right.
Thomas begins his emo boy phase.
Right. The boys got you some new sandals.
The boys get
Because
some.
weren't yours
some new
like too
sandals.
fancy? Wasn't
Yeah.
that the storyline?
Right. Yes.
Like yours are too fancy, so they had to get you some real road.
Yeah,
worthy.
the storyline was essentially, he has the nicest ones. It's like, yeah, but they're not meant for walking. So let's get him a nice pair of walking sandals, which, funny enough, were so brand new that the leather had not been worn in yet. So it was just slicing the back of my ankle for like 2-3 weeks
So
straight.
you were definitely acting. They were the opposite of what they were supposed to
Yes,
be.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, it was
That's hilarious.
not pleasant to walk in those for a bit, but
Yeah.
they got worn in.
Well, one of the reasons that this was the week to have it was because so far and going into this next week, we've had our 600 fans again this season.
Yeah.
We've done it twice this year. We did it in Utah. We did it in Texas. And we've been doing the same scene nonstop for the last 2 days. And we've done your covers, different moments. We've had Pilot and Atticus and everyone. It's just been everyone in this scene at different moments. So this has been quite a week.
It's been quite a week. This like these types of weeks I feel like are always the biggest, like solving a puzzle week, you know, like knowing which piece to put here and which piece to put there, just because there's so many moving parts that I think fans don't really know, or people who don't work in film and TV don't really understand how difficult it is to shoot something like that. I mean, when you're watching an episode of something, when you're seeing it go from one person to a different person or a different shot, like those are all completely brand new setups, you know. It takes a very, very long time.
Might even be a different day.
Might even be a different day, yeah, exactly. Like we might shoot an eighth of a page for one day, you know. So it's difficult for everybody around because you just got to stay focused. And
let's talk about that for a second. So since we're in a 600 a week, you've been a part of a lot of the big background days.
Yeah.
How amazing is our background days? Like just for instance, Friday, just this week. How epic was that when the whole crowd's there and they're chanting and they're like, I mean, it's got to immerse you guys into the real deal, right?
100%. Like the benefit of our show is we don't do green screens, really. You know what I mean? Like we're not adding in extras. If you see, if there's supposed to be 10,000 people there, we have 10,000 people that are there, you know? But it adds a huge element for the actors because you actually get to hear different extras doing different things, some chanting in a positive way, some in a negative way, you know? So it really does make you feel immersed in like you're part of this society or this city, you know?
Which is perfect because yesterday was one of the coolest things I've ever seen is when we did the scene from start to finish after struggling with for different reasons, technical reasons, temperature reasons, everything, trying to get all the fans in and out. We finally had all these fans on set together. It was a big wide shot.
Yeah.
It was going to be the whole scene from start to finish, and we nailed it. And one take, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But how is it being in the scene, like experiencing that?
It's really fun, dude. And something that I just thought of, which I don't know if I can mention, but I'm going to mention it anyway, is I think this is the first or one of the first times, maybe the second time, where all three factions of people in our show are together at one point.
Right. That's a good point.
You know, I think it happened like briefly in season 4, you know, during the big event that happens in season 4. But this, to me, I think is the first time where like all major players of all factions.
Factions, as in you mean like the religious leaders group, the Roman group, and then the disciple group, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. You know, it's kind
all
of a
in
cool
one space. Yeah.
Right. And all revolving around one central event and one person. I think it's pretty remarkable, honestly. Like it's cool to see that happening.
Yeah, so speaking of which, that meant we had 38 cast this week. On one day, one scene. That's a new record for the Chosen. I think our record.
That's insane.
I think our record before that was 29. So today or yesterday was 38 speaking members.
It's wild.
And with 600 BG?
Yes.
Yeah.
So probably the new biggest day on Chosen set.
Yes.
For sure. Like insane.
Yeah, I mean, what show is doing that? You know, the closest thing that I can think of is maybe Game of Thrones when they've had their massive war scenes or their massive battle scenes, you know, but
I'd be curious what their cast count is on those days.
I would be too, actually.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I was going to say you might get this because it feels like the last season of Game of Thrones where all the characters are finally coming together at once, where it's different stories of the religious leaders, of the disciples, of the Romans. They all have different things going on.
Yeah.
But like you said, they're all coming together and having every single person. It feels like Avengers Endgame, too.
It does, yeah. A couple months ago when we were shooting in Utah, I met a couple of Pharisees who apparently have been working on the show since, I think, season 2 or 3. They'd never met before.
Yeah. Wow.
Because our paths just never crossed. You know?
Well, I asked you yesterday if you had ever met Raj. Joseph.
Yeah.
You've never met Raj.
I don't think that I have, honestly.
Yeah, Joseph, plays Jesus' dad.
No, never met him.
I guess Sarah Ann would be in that category too then.
Yeah.
Young Mary.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Unless I'm mistaken, but I don't think there was ever a day where, because they're in a completely different time period than us. You know, they're the flashback, but I've never actually met them in person or anything. I don't even think at premieres either.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I know that I ran into Raj at the Christmas premiere, a few years ago. But yeah, it's certainly possible. I'm curious how I don't know if I know you're trained and you went to school and you came into this office with already so much research on how to, perform your craft, but there's got to be something so different since we're on the topic of really big scenes and big ensemble scenes. That's one of the things that makes our show so unique and historic is how ensemble centric it is, and there aren't too many shows that do that. So how would you, if you were to hold a Joey Vahedi acting class, how would you train?
Okay.
How would you train like an actor to handle these and process these huge scenes, not only from character but just technically? I mean, you probably don't want to bring your 100% into every big scene if your coverage is so far away, but maybe you do. I mean, how would you train somebody to handle these huge scenes? Because they are so unique.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Roby always has the great question.
This is a great question. I think the first thing I would say
I know
to them,
you've learned some tips. I know you guys have learned some tips.
Yeah, sure. The first thing I would say is don't act. Like, find a different career because the industry is really difficult right now. But in terms of, if I was to host my own acting class about this specific thing, number one, I think the most important thing is concentration and focus. So when I was in school, I believe it was my junior year when we first, you get into the program and you meet the master teacher of the program or whatever, right? She was this Russian lady who had studied at the Moscow Art Theater, and their training is very, very intense. So she brought some of that to us, and the whole first couple of weeks before we even touched any scripts was us just doing games that work on focus and concentration and really listening and responding to each other. So it'd be like something as simple as counting to 100 without looking at anybody and just knowing that the next person has got you and is going to do that. But what that kinds of stuff does is it gives you like a super hyper focus and concentration. So I would say that, which leads to you understanding when it's your time to, I guess, showcase what you want to do. I don't know if that's not a great word for it, but it lets you understand when it's somebody else's moment to give them that moment and to stay focused for them and not joke around or talk about Super Smash Bros. or something like that, like in between takes. And number two, regarding like if you're going to go full out or 100% on it, if you're in a super wide shot, I think it's okay to know that you're probably going to be like, this big in the shot, so you're not going to really get to see your face. But I think it's still fun to, if you're not going full out, to at least go out as much as you can in order to be there for your partner, which is the key to acting. It's not about you.
Because that's also
about the other person.
contagious, right? That approach is contagious throughout the entire set. And I think that goes back to your first point about concentration, which, by the way, that's a great life lesson in general, I think for these current generations. Because focus and attention can be so hard to hold, these days.
Yeah.
So I think that exercise, that's going to benefit me just thinking about that.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, for those scenes. So I can see how that mentality could be contagious throughout the entire set. And I have to say, as somebody who's been one of your assistant directors for a few seasons now, if I had to kind of put like a general sort of overview on your approach, I would say concentrated. Like, that's so dead on. I think when you come in the morning, you're focused. When you're out of hair and makeup, you're focused and ready to go to set. When you're asking any questions, about set in general, it's always like very focused and concentrated questions. So that's like perfectly dead on.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I think like when you have so many different characters in a show or in a story, everyone, whether you have one line or 50, you have to have a very specific point of view about what's going on. Thomas is going to have a very specific point of view when, there's a fight happening that has people's life in danger versus Big James, who almost dies, getting hit with a rock that in season 4 versus Peter, who's been in fights and getting, for money, like in season 1.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a very strong and specific point of view on what's happening around you. And I think that sort of guides in terms of how you behave and react and respond to things.
Because I feel like that goes into the aim small, miss small sort of adage, which is if you go into these big scenes thinking you have so much ground to cover, if you focus on your one part,
Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
then that's going to have, you know, some edge to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you focus on how Thomas is going to handle this situation,
Totally.
Yeah.
that kind of helps you narrow it down when you're like this big old scene. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, because
that's
every
good.
time I walk into set with these big scenes, I get so distracted. Because I can get distracted by the stimuli. There's 600 background. There's 40 actors. There's all of our crew.
Yeah.
And in the times that I have, you know, appeared on screen as a double, you know, in the show, I have lightly kind of experienced what it's like. I mean, there's so much to be distracted by.
Yes.
I mean, just talk about the camera alone. I mean, how do you act and not think about the camera?
Yeah, I mean, there are moments like for the fans. There are moments when we're shooting something, and if you're seeing just the person's face from like you know the top of your chest to the top of your head, the thing that you don't know that's happening behind the camera is the camera is literally like this close, this close to you, and you're supposed to be speaking to somebody,
and
but
ignoring the camera.
you can't speak to the person because there's also a lighting setup here and then a guy carrying a really heavy weight here to make sure the stand doesn't fall down. So they put a little piece of pink tape for you to talk to.
Yeah.
And the person that you're speaking to is actually like off in the corner just trying to be like, oh, you know, trying to give you an eye line.
Just
to
give you
help
one
out.
eye, like
Just
poking through the
something.
thing. I'll give you one eye to look at.
But that requires a lot of focus and concentration because you can very easily be like, well, this is not realistic. I'm talking to a pink piece of tape. It's like, well, what do you think they're doing in, you know, Marvel's Endgame where everyone's coming out of circles, like, or you know, when
Tons of blue screen.
yeah, dude, or like when Daenerys is petting her dragons in Game of Thrones. It's literally a dude holding a stick with a piece of foam, and she has to pretend that this is a massive 60-foot dragon.
Yeah.
But it helps, yeah.
Hi, my name is Willie Molina, and Trevecca Nazarene University is proud to sponsor this episode of The Brosen. Rated Middle Tennessee's top Christian university in the Wall Street Journal's 2025 College Pulse rankings, Trevecca prepares students for servant leadership in more than 70 undergraduate majors, including a degree in film and television. Visit trevecca.edu to start your journey from calling to becoming. And a very special thanks to Trevecca film and television students for editing this episode, as well as all of our episodes.
So a lot of the disciples auditioned for somebody else when they auditioned. Did you, or did you audition for Thomas?
No, I did, yeah. I auditioned for Simon, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Auditioned for Simon, and then, you know, you don't hear back. Like usually when casting sends you your breakdown, there's a little spot that shows the shoot dates. So whenever I audition for something, I don't ever really think about that. But there are times where if I see that and then I see that the date has passed, I'm like, all right, cool. You know, it didn't happen. Not a big deal. And I saw that the dates had passed. Didn't hear anything. Moved on with life, right? And then 9 months later.
9 months?
9 months later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you were the second half
Correct.
of season one.
Exactly.
Because we shot season one, the first 4 episodes. It wasn't until a year later we shot the second half, and that's when you came in.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 9 months makes sense now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 9 months later, I get a callback notice for Thomas.
Wow.
And I saw it, and I was like, what the heck for Thomas? Like, I'd never read for this part. And I talked to my manager. I was like, hey, I think this is wrong. Like, I've never read for this part. I don't know what's going on. This might be an error. And she's like, just go to it. And
Yeah.
so I went to the audition, and, you know, Dallas was there with Beverly Holloway, who was the casting director, I believe, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad walks up to me, you know, as I walk in the room, puts his hand down, and he's like, hey, Joey, I've been watching your tape for the last couple months, and I really, really liked your work. And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, what, you've been watching the tape? He's like, yeah, no, I really liked your work and wanted to bring you back. So the reason, like, this is one of my favorite stories about your dad. I'm going to talk kindly of him for a second.
But we do rip him on this show, too,
Oh,
so that's open as well.
I do it to him daily. We text each other, you know, every so often with just. But he sends me a clip of the show every season before it's released, where he puts the fart into the clip, no matter what it is.
Bethesda fart.
He sends it to me every single time. But I remember when I walked in, they sent me 3 scenes. Did the first scene, and then he goes, okay, you ready to move on to the second one? I said, yeah, let's move on. He goes, you know which one it is, right? And I said, yeah, it's this one right here. And he goes, no, it's actually this one. And the one that he was referring to was the 3rd scene. And I said, oh, I have that here, but that's the 3rd one. And I said, but it's cool. Like, we can do that one, no problem at all. We can skip this one and just move on to this. And I remember him specifically being like, no. You worked on the second one. We're gonna go get the sides right now. We'll have the reader read it, and we're gonna do it because you worked on it. And that's when I knew. I was like, that's a good guy right there. That's a good director right there.
Yeah.
Because most casting would be like, oh, you worked on 14 pages? Yeah, no, we're just doing 2 pages. We don't have time.
Wow.
Let's move on. But he specifically took the time to do it, give notes, do it again, and then we moved on to the final one. So, whatever, Dallas. I guess you're a cool director or something, dude.
I guess I'll say something
Well,
good about
he's
you.
here today. Come on in.
Dallas.
He hands me my resignation letter, and I was like, what the heck? Yeah.
How did that feel playing Thomas for just that one episode in the back half of season 1?
Yeah.
Did you know it was going to evolve into this character arc that you were going to have, and that it was going to spiral down 6 more seasons?
That I did not know, honestly. Like, I knew that I was coming on as a guest star to be a series regular for season 2.
So you did know it was going to
Yes,
continue.
I did
Okay.
know that. When I got the scripts for season 4, I was very shocked, honestly.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dallas, no.
You know what's crazy
Well,
is,
you worked on these scenes. So.
well, you did this a couple years ago. The thing that's crazy is I didn't get the scripts for a minute, and I had crew members and other cast texting me before I even saw what happened, saying, "Dude, did you read the scripts?" And I said, "No, what's going on?" And they, I tell people specifically, like, please don't ever tell me. I like to be surprised when I'm reading something. But I want to say at least like 5 or 6 people texted me before I got the script, just being like,
Wow.
"Hey, man, like, did you read the scripts yet?" And I said no. And then when I finally read them, I texted Ryan and Tyler, the other writers of the show, and I was just like,
I hate you.
guys.
I hate you both.
I was just like, guys, this is crazy, and thank you. Like,
But
this is
also
gonna be
thank
fun.
you,
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, it's like, as weird as it is to say, this is the kinds of stuff that you work on in school.
Right, of
like,
course.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's this is an actor's dream,
Right.
to me at least. You know, it was something that had a huge arc to it, and there's a reason why this sets him up as Doubting Thomas. Like, they really based it in reality, and it's a reality for the show that I think we hadn't seen before. You know, like in season 3, we had the whole miscarriage with Eden and Peter, which is a very intense topic. But then in the next season, to have one of the actual followers die, and at the hands of a Roman, and then at the same time not agree to bring them back, is pretty crazy. You know, so it was fun for me.
So, yeah. I mean, of course, we can all attest to your performance and how incredible it was. And, you know, we love it. Are you able to go back and watch it? Or can you not go, I can't even. Like, you did it, you put it out there, and then, or do you actually go back and watch it and go?
I usually don't like to. The only times I do go back to watch stuff is in the same way that an athlete goes back to review film.
Yeah.
So I'll do it to watch and see if it worked, if it didn't work,
Yeah.
and then also to refresh myself on what
where
happened.
you're at. Yeah, as a character. Yeah.
I tend to try and watch every single season before I start the shooting
That's
of the new
good, yeah.
season, just so I understand where I was at before.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because outside of that, you're living life, like your normal
Yeah.
life. So it's got to be hard when we take 6-8 months off for you to go. I don't even remember where Thomas was at the end
Yeah,
of last
man.
season. I need to like recap.
yeah, with like from the transition from season 4 to 5, like end of season 4 is, you know, it's, I think timeline wise, it's 3 days after Lazarus has been raised.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the ending of season 4 to season 5 picking up right at that exact moment. But we had, 7-8 months off.
Right.
So it's refreshing yourself like, oh, yeah, we're still in emo phase right now. So
Yeah. So speaking of which, I got to talk about that. This makes me laugh. I remember like the disciples just start because it feels for us, you've been in the depression emo phase, as you say, for us, for the rest of it, you've been in it for months, right?
Yeah.
But in the story, it's only been 3 days. And
Yes.
so I remember like all the disciples are like, Thomas, get over it. It's
Yeah.
been 3 days,
Dude,
baby.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, they did that. So when we did the opening to season 5, the triumphant entry,
yeah.
like
They
when
were-
the camera was really wide, they were all just yelling stuff at me, you know, just be like, dude, get over it, like be happy. And Nick Shakur, I remember, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he put his like arm on me at one point in the shot, and I don't think this one made it in, but he put his arm on me at one point. And he was just like, "You're such a loser," like something like that, and then just like kept walking on. It's like, all right, leave it to Nick to.
That's
to do
so
it.
good.
And you know
You
can't break. Like you have to just keep going. But there were definitely times where I'm walking in just like,
You're such a loser.
okay.
And that had to be hard. Like the triumphal entry, literally every single disciple is like, this is the greatest moment of our life, and you just got to be like, life sucks.
Yeah.
Like
Because it's like realistically, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
What is happening to him? Like
Yeah.
literally 3 days before, Jesus raises his own best friend up at the expense of one of his followers who's given up everything for him.
Right.
You know, so it's crazy, but
Yeah.
we have fun with it.
Poor Thomas has to be
Yeah.
has to be depressed all the time when all
Yeah.
the other disciples are through the roof.
Yeah, for real.
When did you know? When did you know that Ramah was going to die? Did you know when you read the scripts for season 4, or did you know like a year, 2 years?
Actually, I have a story about this, which
Oh.
puts Dallas in a bad light this time.
Oh, we like those. We like those.
So we were filming season 3, and it's the first scene where you see Thomas, Ramah, and Kaufney, where Thomas and Ramah are on the journey to go join up with everybody. They're looking at the map, and
Yeah.
you know, I think it's this way. No, I think it's this way. So we're filming that. We do a couple of takes, and then I don't know why Dallas thought this was a good idea to say, but he comes up to me and he gives me a note, and he goes, "Hey, when you are talking to Ramah, when you're correcting her on stuff, I want you to be like a little bit meaner to her, you know, and really correct her on what she's saying and how she's like doesn't know what she's talking about." And I said to him like, "Hey man, I'll do it, but it feels weird because if this is somebody that you like and are trying to make something happen with, why would you be this mean to them over something like this?" And he goes, "It's gonna set up stuff later on." I said, "What do you mean?" And he tells both of us, we're standing right there, and he
While
goes,
you're filming
we're
scene.
filming this
Oh my
particular scene, and he goes, "Because she's gonna die."
No, he didn't. In
And-
the middle of the scene.
Yes.
He's wrecked, and then when they tell him Jesus has resurrected, he doesn't believe it. And one of the reasons he doesn't believe it in our narrative is that a couple of seasons earlier, she dies. And he doesn't raise her from the dead, even though you've seen him do it before. And there's sort of just this like devastating, like, yeah, it's brutal. So that carries through to, you know, like it kind of hangs over you for a full season of just like you're with him, but you're not over it, you know.
And we're both standing there like,
What? You just dropped a bomb while we're filming. Like,
We're
Yeah.
gonna, by the way, because it's going to lead to you getting fired, yes.
dude, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a huge bomb to drop on an actor, not just like, you know, for their employment, but like also for the story.
my gosh.
And then,
We're going to have Dallas back on just
Dude,
to talk about
it was-
this moment. And
it
go,
was
Dallas,
crazy.
what were you thinking
Yeah.
in this moment?
a year later, he like, I brought it up to him, and he goes, "Yeah, you know, I don't know why I said that to you guys." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know why you said that to us either, man, because it didn't help at all, you know." But look, here we are,
I
season
wonder if there's
6.
BTS of that. We have BTS rolling all the time.
Right, we
If
should.
if you
If
define
you-
that.
if we
Oh,
have
I would
that clip.
love to see y'all's
probably
reactions
is,
when he goes, "Oh yeah, she's gonna die."
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, it
Text
was.
Colin McLeod right now.
Yeah.
See if he's got that footage. That's crazy.
That's like a crazy thing to tell an actor, you know, when it has nothing to do with what you're filming right now. It's, I don't know. It's just
That's
one of his Dallas moments, I guess.
So then to jump to that a year. Well, Dallas has a lot of moments of making fun of Ben as well. So Ben knows this all too well.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you say that? Jumping to a year later when you guys are actually filming the scene with all those background. I unfortunately could not be there on the day, but I'm sure it was as tiring as it sounded. Adam Ading, Roby with all the schedules, Ben with all the BG at the beginning. Like, what was that like with all of it coming together? Did it feel a little bit like what we just shot this last few days and are going to continue filming? Like, what did the scale of that feel like?
To me, it felt like that times 100, honestly. Before the season started, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, every single actor texted me and said, hey man, if there's anything that you need this season, you let us know.
That's so legit, man. That's awesome.
Every single one.
That is awesome.
And it's rare that you work with a cast that is this close to each other.
And that giving. Yeah.
And that giving, yeah. And
That's
I remember, like, that particular week when we were shooting, once we got towards, you know, the moment of the stabbing and all that kinds of stuff, I didn't remember much of it at the time. Like, I had very little memory of it.
Yeah.
But the things that I did remember were all the cast and crew being extremely respectful and understanding that this is a very sensitive moment, and no one was talking, no one was joking around. Like, people understood. Makeup would come in, touch me up, you know, give me, like, Ashley, the freaking best makeup person, would literally come in, have tissues ready, you know, whatever it was, and then leave, and then just let me do my thing. All the extras on top of that, like, so respectful, you know, so respectful, adding to the intensity of the moment. And I remember at one point, like, I heard this way after the fact, but Ashley was telling me that there were some extras that were there that had no idea what we were shooting. And some of them had spoken to some of the crew just being like, I was not prepared for this. I didn't know this was going to go down. So they were kind of experiencing it in real time, you know. One of the key memories that I have is in between takes, I was feeling so physically exhausted that I was just sitting down against a wall. And Noah, without having to say anything, just stood in front of me with his arms crossed, you know, like with his back to me, just kind of like a bouncer, so nobody would come and bother me. And I didn't notice it at the time, but after the fact, I was like, oh my God, I think he was doing that to, like, keep the space safe.
If you're in the zone, and a safe space.
Yeah.
Wow, that is like,
dude, awesome. You don't hear this on other shows. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a testament to how wonderful everybody that we work with is. Like, I'm eternally grateful to everybody during that season.
That's so
everybody,
cool, man.
Yeah.
So you mentioned all the extras responding. That Ben, on your side, what was the vibe like in the tent?
I'd be curious.
Oh, dude, that was insane because it was just it. I mean, for weeks we all talked about it. The barbecue.
That is what we called it. You're right.
Yeah,
we did call it barbecue.
And it was so funny because anytime we would mention it to Mitch would be like, because somebody's getting skewered. And that's a little, if you know Mitch, that's funny.
I love it.
Well, but also real quick, Adam, I keep getting distracted. Every time I look at you, man, you're so tan. You're sunburned right now. I can see your glasses, just the rim.
Really?
Of you being out in the sun the last week.
You got a good tan going.
I do. We should talk Dallas and let me be a disciple, you know.
I agree.
Get that tan going.
Yeah, get on in.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a conversation with Dallas about wanting to be in the show, Adam?
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was high alert. The hard part about it was we had so many. I mean, it was 500 BG every day, but each day there was at least 60 new people that would come in that wasn't there, that hasn't had the whole spiel yet. And so you could kind of tell that there were some people that were like, hey, I'm just here to be an extra. I'm just here to be a part of the Chosen. That was maybe about 75 people out of all the 500. And everybody else, it was crowd control of just like, listen, this is top priority. Nobody can know about this. Nobody can talk about this outside this tent, like whatever you see. And when it happened in the film, like the minute that we got the actual death coming back, people were like wiping tears out of their eyes, crying, weeping in the tent. That it was like, this is like, if this is what's happening in the tent, this is going to shock the world in a few months. So yeah, it was a weird day for sure.
And it stayed
Definitely.
locked. I don't think any of that was leaked.
None of it was leaked.
Yeah, I agree.
No, yeah, we got it. We got it locked.
Luth.
Yeah. Take that.
It's pretty crazy for something like that to stay locked. Like, I don't know what the process is with the extras, if they're required to sign NDAs or anything like that, you know? But if they're not, it's pretty crazy that they didn't say anything. But that's also, again, a testament to them and how
To
much
our
they
extras,
love the
yes.
show and how they understand that it's a sacred space. which is cool.
So cool.
That's just beautiful because they don't sign NDAs. They all
Really?
come in. Like some of them are on their first day. Like, I can't wait. I want to be a part of the show. I'm volunteering. None of them sign NDAs, and none of them leak it. There's the occasional picture posted that shouldn't be posted.
And they're just not thinking about,
We had one this year. I can't say what the scene is, but we had one this year where a background actor required a lot of makeup and had a very specific role that would have given a lot away, and then posted a picture of him wearing the makeup saying, "Loved my day as this kind of role on this season of The Chosen." So I was like, oh, why? Because they don't sign NDAs, that's right. But it's a really beautiful thing that none of them leaked that. Everyone knew. They get it. They all want to be a part of it. And that's what I love about this last week, this upcoming week, and just our background in total, is that they love being here. Where every single day I ask them, hey guys, for this day, please don't bring your phones down to set. And they all are not. Yep, thumbs up, sounds good.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful.
I'm glad to hear that. And I think it's because they want to see the best version of this product,
Yeah.
And the way they know that that'll happen if they feel like they are part of it as well. So they understand the sanctity behind the process of making film and television. Even if they've never worked in it, they just understand that when it's an intense moment like that in a series or a story, that it needs to stay under wraps until it gets released.
Yeah. So you talked about, you've kind of given us a little bit, you've talked about the disciples and y'all's relationship and how they're fun to hang out with too, but also how just giving they are. And they took care of you during the season 4 process, which I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Something we always ask too is like, what's one of your favorite, most fun stories on set? Like, what's one of your best memories where you just laughed uncontrollably? Maybe even it was a whole season or a whole week or just one moment. But do you have any of those, or it's just like...
We have so many silly moments that happen, but one in particular, I don't know if, I guess it's a little bit of a silly moment, but one that sticks out to me is season 3. We're doing the feeding of the 5,000, and for people who don't know like how many people we actually had, it was 12,000 extras over a period of 4 days. So they rotated them out into 5,000, 5,000, and then 1K after that. But I remember one of the days that we were filming where all the disciples are out in the field and they're handing out...
Like when you're in the crowd.
Yeah, when we're in the crowd. All of us are spread out throughout the entire crowd. So some are in the front, middle, and back. We're handing out loaves and fishes and stuff like that. And there's this giant crane shot that's coming over, grabbing all that stuff, right?
Super epic. Yeah.
And I got placed at the very back of the group. So I had a bunch of people around me, and then there were also people on the hill that was behind us. And I don't know how this started, but one of the disciples started like doing this to get his section to cheer for him. I don't remember who it was, but they did that, and their group started cheering for him. Then the other person that was next to them saw that they did this, so they did the same thing with their section, and it started this chain reaction. For like every other group was louder than the next, and I had the most people in my section. So when it got to that, I looked at everybody and I said, "Cheer as loud as you can on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3." And everyone in that section, as well as the people on the hill, all erupted, and I just raised my arms up like this and just stared all the other disciples down, just to let them know who was king here. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's one of my favorite.
Slow.
Yeah, it's like
Are you not entertained?
yeah, exactly, yeah. Or like in Game of Thrones when the Ice King is just putting his arms up, or
All
whatever.
the zombies are coming up.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite moments.
Any chance BTS got that? Did you see?
There has to be.
There has to be.
There
They're rolling
has
the
to be
whole time,
footage
yeah.
of that. Like that one in
I bet
particular.
that would be if they got it, that would be incredible.
I'm sure they did, because
Yeah.
I'm sure once they heard the crowd erupt the first time, they probably were like, "Oh, we got it. We should get
Yeah,
this."
exactly,
They
yeah.
tend to do that kind of
We
thing.
need an edit of you, of your head on the body of the Ice King, and all the people behind you are rising up, and it's all intense in the fires. I know
Dude.
exactly what scene you're talking about.
Yes. You know what's funny though is like, now having done this show for so long, you really start to kind of understand the technical aspect of editing, I think. Like that's something I really pay attention to now with film and TV is if you're going to do something like I Think You Should Leave or CSI or whatever it is, there are leads on that show. The camera is mostly going to be on those leads unless you are like a pretty big guest star on the show or the storyline really revolves around you. So if the detectives are coming in and asking questions, the camera is going to pan to you in a moment, maybe for a couple of seconds where you're answering the question, but the camera loves their leads, so
They're
it's
going to
going
stay on their reactions more than your dialogue.
100%. Yeah, you're going to be giving the exposition, and the camera's going to be on the detectives or whoever it is that and looking to see what they're doing. Yeah. So it's just part of the business, is part of filming, and you hope to get a role that's juicy enough to be able to allow you to the camera to love you, I guess, to where they want to see what you're doing.
But that's what's so unique about our show is that it's like it is an ensemble. Like you have a day where there's no disciples, there's none of the women, there's none of the Pharisees. It's like these two characters will serve a purpose that sets this up, that sets this up. We're going to see them again in another season. They might be in season 1, but we need them again for season 4 because of how important they are.
Yes, correct.
Our show is so unique in that aspect. It's not CSI where it's going to be like, okay, we're going to focus on Jesus, Mary Magdalene, John for the entire episode. It's like, no, we need to see what our other characters are up to.
Yes.
And that's what makes our shoot so long, too, is because we have days where we need to focus on all these guest stars, and one day with one specific disciple that lasts all day long, but it all serves a purpose. Is why I love our show. It's
100%.
Yeah.
And this is why it's also important to bring it back to having the point of view, because Jesus could be talking about one thing up there, but not everyone might be pissed off about that. Somebody might be upset about that. Somebody might be fearful about what he's saying. Somebody might be angry. Somebody might really enjoy that, a bunch of destruction is about to happen. So this is why it's important to have such a strong point of view as an actor when you're working on something like that. Even if you are in that particular scene for 3 seconds just to get your reaction, at least we know where Nathaniel stands.
Yeah.
At least we know where little James and Thaddeus stand on what's going on compared to how they felt about everything prior.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
You might have one line in the whole scene, but we have to get it. It's like, okay, Thomas is in the back here potentially. We got to shift everything. We got to get it because it is important. Like you have to get you
correct.
I can't talk. We're not going to edit you out of the episode. Like I think you should leave. It's like no, Thomas is important to the story. We have to get Thomas's reaction, even if it's a line. Here we go. Here's the next 2 hours. We got to get it.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I shouldn't admit this, but like one thing I've come to realize working on the show is I feel like I kind of know how something might be edited. You know what I mean? Just in terms of if it's a very long scene and it's mostly Jesus speaking, like I know the camera is mostly going to be on him. I remember when we did, I want to say this was I think it was last year when they did, do you remember when we did like the play that the disciples put on?
Oh, yeah.
Was it last season 5, or was that season 4?
Season 5.
Season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was season 5. I remember I was one of the only guys that wasn't in the play, right? Because Thomas is, as we discussed, doing his emo thing,
Doing his emo thing.
Yeah. And I remember at one point when they're about to start the play, I walk down and become part of the crowd. But I deliberately chose to go stand behind a pillar because I knew I wasn't going to make the shot. So I just stood behind a pillar the whole day, and I would literally walk off when it was rolling and go get crafty.
I love it when you reveal like these hacks, because I think you did a Q&A a couple of years ago where I think you said on stage that one of your other kind of hacks, if you want to call it that, is the old Command F shortcut in scripts.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
When you want to search your lines,
yes,
instead of reading the whole thing, you'll just search the lines.
Which bit me in the butt during season 2, because I did Command F, and there were lines where all of us were speaking, and it says all under the character name. So we got to the day to film it, and they're like, "Yeah, all of you guys are saying this," and I went, "What are you talking about?" Like,
And it's like a whole thing.
it was like at least like 3 lines or something like that.
Are you talking about the campsite?
Not the campsite.
I was going to say, because you weren't the only one. That was every disciple.
That was a disaster.
That was the disaster. There was a moment where we had a campsite, and apparently all the actors do the command out, because out of all the disciples, not a single person knew the lines except Mary Mags. Except
and I think maybe Amber too.
And maybe it was the women.
Yeah.
None of the guys knew a single line, and Dallas is like, "Guys, it's in the script," and everybody's just like, "Sorry."
Yeah.
Can you explain what the Command F is to our audience?
Yes. If you have a MacBook and you press Command F, if you're like have a document open like Preview or whatever it is, Command F is the find feature. So the little search bar pops up for you to type in whatever word, and then it will highlight what word is there. So when I do that, I type in Thomas just to see how many parts there are for Thomas that are speaking versus not speaking. And where it normally says the character name, if all of us are speaking, it will say all. So now I make sure to Command F all as well, just in case. But in season 2, when that happened and we were filming, I remember the shot is like, it's getting a good majority of us in the shot and it's pretty close up. And while we're filming, like everyone's saying the prayer and I'm like saying the prayer like this and doing this, like trying to get my face away from the camera.
There's a blooper out there that exposes it.
Oh, really?
On George
really?
and Abe's coverage. And Dallas is literally repeating the lines to them
season 5, was that one, or the tent scene?
The campsite was like season 4.
Yeah, the campsite is the one that you're talking about. Yeah,
Is this not the same scene?
No, I was talking about season 2. There's
so
another moment.
they do it all the time then, I guess.
But that one, I know what you're talking about. That one I remember because, Dallas is off camera reading the scripts, and then the boys would start to say the line, and they would go, "Sorry, what was it again?" And it was a late night too, so everyone's brain was just deflating, and
But I think all the disciples Command F that one.
100%.
All of them were like, "Oh, wait, what?" And Dallas is like,
You know what it is actually for that one? We argued with him because it didn't say all in the script.
Oh, yep,
it was
that's probably true. Yeah,
stage direction that said the disciples continue the prayer, but the way it was broken up in the script is they had 2 of them saying this section, 2 of them saying this section. So he actually messed up and tried to blame it on us.
I think he just assumed you guys would read his scripts.
And that's what he said. He was just like, "Are you guys not reading the
I know.
script?" And we're like, "We are reading the script. You just didn't write it the way you had it in your mind."
didn't memorize that because we didn't think it was ours.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
we can
and-
definitely blame Dallas for not correctly laying out the script the way it should be.
It
because
is
I have
his
issues
fault.
with that too. Because I have issues with that every season.
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's like,
That's
I'm
checks
like,
out.
Dallas, that's not how it was laid out. And he's like, "It's right there in the script." I'm like, "Yeah, but."
we're all thinking technical. We have to dissect the scripts, not be like, okay, we're gonna spend this time on this part. It's like, oh, what does he mean by? It's like, no, we have to schedule. We have to do background.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say, ADs, at least me, I'm also guilty of the Command F because one of the tricks that I've done the last couple seasons is I do what's called a supercut. So I combine all of the episodes into one PDF document. And so if I'm needing to find out real quick if there's a certain rabbi or if there's a supporting character I'm looking for, I'll do Command F just to see where they kind of fall in the entire line.
All right.
But that can get you, like you, where if they introduce, if there's a scene that takes place over multiple scenes, broken up by others, if they're introduced in one scene but they're technically not listed in the other scenes, then, or the opposite happens. Let's say a character is introduced in the latter part of a scene, but they're not mentioned in the first.
Yeah.
You think, oh, they're only in part 4 of that scene, but really they should be in part 1 too because they're also in part 4. So you have to be really careful about the old Command F. You have to use it with caution.
Dallas is watching this episode going, just read the script.
Yeah, for real.
Well, and that's especially with background ADs, and I'm sure Sam knows too, and Adam's probably seen it. Roby, it falls into the same line. We have to do a breakdown that shows 10 Roman soldiers in this scene and 10 Pharisees in this scene and things like that. And I don't know how often in season 4 it would be very specific for one paragraph, and then the next paragraph would be like, featured BG, and it clearly wouldn't say that, but it would say Roman centurion, and it's like, okay, so is that a featured background or is that an actor? And it's like, well, we need to talk to Dallas and confirm what Dallas means here because it could be, who knows? And I don't know how often it would turn into a cast member or would be a featured BG.
Oh yeah, don't even get me
unreal.
started on this. The disciples have been such a fight for Dallas and I until this season. We probably started season 5 getting more specific, but so often in the script it would be and some of the disciples.
Yes.
Well, which ones?
Correct. Yeah.
And they wouldn't list the names directly, and I'm constantly going to Dallas and going, well, you had all 12 in this one. but then you have 9. And anyway, it's just been back and forth, and it's not specific on who's in the
Right.
scene until last season. We didn't start doing that because then it'd be like we'd be doing a scene, and I'd have Thomas there, and he'd be like, "Why is Thomas here?" I'm like, "Because it says the disciples."
Yes.
He's like, "But I don't need Thomas in the scene. He's supposed to be over there." I'm like,
Yes.
I didn't put. Thomas is with Ramah right now. He's not with them. And I'm like, yeah, but it said all the disciples. Like, he's like, yeah,
Exactly.
but Thomas is with Ramah. I was like, well, I wasn't putting that together.
In his mind, he's like all the remaining disciples. I'm like, but that's not how we think.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there was
But
probably
we love the writers.
We love the writers. We
Without
love
the writers, we
love
wouldn't have
the
any
writers.
jobs
We love you.
or
We
love
any
you,
of the
Ryan.
chosen. We
Thank you
love
so
the
much.
writers.
We love
Thank
you.
But Dallas,
love
should,
the writers.
Yeah, scheduling the.
but Dallas should correct those logistically. Let's be honest.
100%. Yeah, you got. I mean,
Roby
because
just
like,
saved all of our jobs.
I mean, timeline wise, I remember in season 3, Thomas goes off to go ask for
Right.
Ramah's hand.
Exactly.
You know, so there are a couple of episodes that Thomas is not in, but if it says all the disciples,
I'd throw Thomas in there.
yeah, exactly. You have everybody there. It's like
Yeah.
it's a waste of everybody's time. You know what I mean? And it's just not efficient.
Did I
so-
bring you to set one of those days?
You
when
did
were
not.
Supposed to be
No,
there?
no,
Okay.
you did not.
I was
You
good.
never.
I was not going to be surprised.
Never, no. With that kind of thing, I was off for those days.
I was not going to be surprised if it was like Thomas showed up. It was like, he ain't supposed to be here.
Yeah. No.
Sometimes it's happened where because I'm Dallas' son, they assume I also know how he's thinking. So it has happened before, and it's always been yes, they are in the scene, but they would come up to me and go, "Hey, are we actually supposed to be in the scene?" And I'm like, "I don't have the brain space to answer this question.
Yeah.
Go ask my dad." He's like, "Can you ask him for me?" I'm like, I'm gonna get the look.
Yeah.
Well, and he would also do the followers. So
Yeah.
then that's like, well, that's Mary Mags,
Right,
that's
right,
Tamar, that's
Eden sometimes.
that's.
Barnaby,
I'm like,
yeah.
who is that?
Shula.
Is that Barnaby and
That's
Shula?
Veronica?
Like,
Dude, it's
who's
a lot of
included?
people.
Like, yeah, who's the followers? I mean, I could bring in 25 people.
Yeah.
You'll go sometimes the disciple group, and we're like, is that
Yeah, it could
is
be
that
anybody.
the extras as well? Is that Barnaby and Shula at this
Right.
point? He's like, no, they're not followers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The woman at the well is technically one of his followers.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
are we bringing her back for?
Yeah, is she coming in?
Yeah, it can get a little crazy with that kind of
Zebedee
stuff.
Are we
and
bringing
Salome?
Jairus in here? I mean, Jairus is a follower. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Shout out to Alessandro. Love you, Alessandro.
Dude, best guy.
Yeah.
Or it's even worse if you're like, and the religious leaders are like, oh, we're opening a whole can of worms
That
there.
could be 25 or that could be 3.
Totally.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, being Dallas' son, when you first came onto the show, what you were with us season 3, was it? Like when you first came on?
Season 1, technically,
Season 1?
but full time season 3. Yeah.
Gotcha. I only worked for 1 week in season 1, so I don't know if I saw you
He
at that
did.
time.
Yeah, he just like came for a couple days, season 1 too.
Got it. Okay.
I'm being technical for no reason. I'm being my father's son right now.
No. I understand. But when you came on regularly on the show, was it weird that you were the director's son? Like, were people giving you crap for it or anything like that? Or
No, because on the few days I had on season 1, that was it still is sometimes where it's like I have to make some calls, and even though I might be right, it's different because it's coming from the director's son.
Yeah.
And the first thing might be, oh, we're not going to really listen here because you're the director's kid. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Even though I might, that might come into play sometimes. But season 3, it didn't be all the time because starting in season 1, my dad told Adam and Mitch, put them on the worst jobs.
good.
Like, don't just hand
So
them
put him in the AD department.
Put him in the AD
worst jobs in the AD department. It was
like the ones that were the toughest. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
so-
you're not just gonna show up and
because I'm not going to show up and be like, oh yeah, you're just going to be Adam's right hand guy and you're going to learn everything right away.
yeah.
He's like, no, you're going to start off opening the gate for all the vans and you're going to be out there all day long.
You remember all the time we spent out in the fields?
Oh yeah.
We put Sam on gate duty. He just had to open and close the gate all day for the cows.
Listen, I genuinely think that's really good that he did that.
It was because it wasn't just given me right away. It's like, okay, we have an open spot, PA here, do background. And season 3, they threw me in background like, yep, we need a PA here. Join at the time Kyle Rasmussen, who was my job and Ben's job at the time. He goes, help him out, do this. And then it was, okay, help him do this. Okay, you've learned a little bit of this, help him do this, to now becoming the BG AD. So every single
Yeah.
thing has been had to learning.
It's very important though because it allows you to come from a perspective of empathy when you're no longer working those jobs. And I want to talk about you guys for a second because I
That's
think
not allowed. That's not allowed.
I think this is very important for fans to know. So the way these guys, all of them, all of our PAs, includes Danny, Rebecca, everybody, right? The way they handle talking to actors and speaking to background, and Mitch learning 200 people's names that he might never see again.
It's
you know,
insane.
it is so important because it creates a vibe on set of camaraderie, joy, and most importantly, safety. And what I mean by safety is not just like, you know, you're not going to get run over by a cow or something, but like I mean it as in like you feel that you are able to be your most vulnerable and authentic self, which will translate onto the camera for every extra, right? It's very important because early in my career when I worked on shows, this has happened to me multiple times where the stuff that I had shot, I was looking like everybody else for that day because it was either like a hospital scene where everybody looks the same, or a big party scene where everyone's dressed up in cocktail attire. And whenever I go onto a set, I always ask one of the PAs, like, hey, do you mind if I go and check out the set? I just want to get a look and feel for it. And they're like, yeah, for sure. Go down and just let the person know. So this happened to me on multiple occasions when I went down there and I would ask a PA who was down there, hey, do you mind if I like go check out the set? I just want to see it. And their attitude and demeanor is like, what are you doing? You can't be here. Your area's over there. You're not allowed to be in this area, like super aggressively, until I have to say, oh no, man, like I'm a day player today. I'm not one of the extras. And their demeanor completely changes. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, yes, please come through. And as they're apologizing, I'm thinking in my head, why are you speaking this way to anybody? Like, it doesn't matter if they're an extra or if they're Brad Pitt coming on to be a guest star for the episode. You shouldn't talk to people like that. So I say all this because you guys have been so great about that kinds of stuff, and you can feel that energy on the set. You feel that people care, and you're not just a piece of property that's coming on and standing in the sun for 10 hours and going home, you know? So thank you to all you guys.
Oh, thank you, man. That means a lot because, I mean, I have a meeting with all of my team at the beginning of every season, and this is kind of what I preach is like, I want us to be the go-to for everyone, not just cast, but the crew. That if they're confused and they don't know what's going on, or like a grip that's coming in, because we get day players that come and help other departments.
Yeah, all the time.
A grip that has no idea what's going on. They've never been on the show and they're just helping for 2 days. They don't even know who their boss is. They're just like, I'm here to work, but I don't know, you know. And I'm like, I want my team to be that core for everybody. They should be able to go to anybody on my team with a walkie, and we should be able to tell them where to go, what they can do, and help them. And if they don't know, then take the time to help them. If we have it, let's help them. So I love hearing that because I do preach that to our team. I'm like, I want us to be the core of the whole show, to where it's like anyone can go to the AD department and get an answer or at least help.
Yes,
and know where to go and what to do,
or find a way to get an answer for you. Yeah. No, it's extremely important because you can feel the energy on set, and anytime we get new guest stars, co-stars, recurrings, whatever it is, I always make an effort to go and introduce myself because that's what was done to me when I was first working, and it was done to me by the leads of those shows who I love, and I'm so grateful to them for doing that for me, even if it was just for a couple of days a week, couple of weeks. And every single person that I've asked when I've had a conversation with them, I'm like, hey, is everyone treating you right? Like, do you feel good? And they always say, like, this has been so fun to work on because everyone is just so cool and kind.
That's awesome.
So it's important. Yeah. And that's how people get trained too, you know? Like if someone is a PA, they're going to behave the way they're seeing someone in a position of power behave, you know, or someone who's they're superior, I guess, if you want to word it that way. Yeah. That's what they'll take to on another job and go on and do that. So that stuff is very, very important.
Yeah, and I think it starts at the top. It starts with like Dallas. Yeah. You know, Dallas sets the tone of like, hey, this is going to be our set. We're not going to be this, like what trickles down from the top.
Right.
There's another show that I work on in between seasons of The Chosen. When season 6 will end, I'll
say the name, dude. Out them right now.
Well, it's a good thing I'm going to say. There's another show that I work on where at the beginning of each season that they start, they say, we don't yell on this set. We don't treat people this way on this set. It's like, and there's so many people that have worked in the industry for a long time that come to this show, to the other show and our show as well, because they're like, we love the people that we work with. Shout out JP, who also is on this show that I work on. There are days where he's not working and he'll come and hang out with the set because like, I love the people here.
Yeah.
There's a day on that show I'm also with BG, and I think this speaks really highly of our team. It's because I take care of the background, and I checked in on them in between takes, and I kind of took them back, and I was like, what'd I say? And they're like, nothing. And one lady said, no one has ever asked me that when I've been background before.
That breaks my heart, honestly. Like it's such a great thing to hear that you're doing that, and it also it makes me very sad because they're not trying to mess up the take. Like they're not trying to make it difficult for you guys. They just don't know what to do, you know? So when you do come at it from the perspective of kindness, love, and empathy, it really makes such a huge difference for the rest of the day because now they're excited about being there and they want to do their best, which helps with time and everything, you know?
Yeah, I heard something early on in my career too about background that really spoke to me, and it was like, we don't have, like, the scene doesn't work without background. Like, even if you're like 100%. In a bar or like a lounge or whatever, you need movement in the background. You need people doing, even if you're barely seeing them.
Yes.
That brings stuff for the actors, so then they feel like they're in an environment. Just like we talked about this week, having 600 background that are screaming and yelling, like that puts the actors in the moment. Like we can't do this without background, and it feels like the industry as a whole forgets that sometimes. They go and we treat them so bad, but it's like background is so vitally important.
It is
to the scene, and it doesn't feel as big without them. I mean, especially with The Chosen,
100%.
Background makes our show so much bigger and epic, and like just it immerses you into the moment, and so. Mitch is great about telling him, but I always tell him too, I'm like, we can't do this without you. Like, we need you in this. Like, you're just as vitally important because it doesn't work without you.
Yeah.
Like, if this was AI or visual effects, like, it's just not going to work. Yeah.
I remember in season 4 that I know we keep talking about the Ramah's death stuff, but like, I remember at one point before.
I know, get over it already.
I know, dude, come on.
But how could we not? It's one of our biggest scenes ever.
Sure, of course. I remember at one point, like Peter calls Thomas and Z over saying like, hey, you need to find an exit route. And I say, okay. And you see Thomas scanning and then he sees the alleyway that's off and he doesn't know how to get through. So Andrew comes up to him and says like, what do you need? And he says, make a lane for me. He says, got it. And then we start shoving our way through this crowd. But the extras were so great in that moment because everyone is being safe throughout all of this, so we know what's going on. But we asked them for a little resistance, and dude, they gave us resistance. So you're really shoving through, and it does start to feel dangerous at a certain point where you're like, how am I gonna even just make it to the other side? And I don't know, it's just something that really adds so much more to what's going on in those moments.
Yeah. To harp on yesterday, with the thing you said about asking the background for resistance. We talked a little bit about it. Seeing the whole scene play out yesterday with every actor on it, you would think, oh, the background only know one thing. They don't read the scripts like we all do.
Correct.
They don't know what's going on as much. But they've been in it all day for the last 2 days. So we need everyone from start to finish to play their role. Seeing people that aren't even background actors, they're just fans who come to the show. They're screaming things, they're yelling. Then you see our background Romans that are pushing the citizens aside, and they're pushing them back. You see temple guards who are standing at attention scanning the crowd. You have servants that are background coming in, and they have to offer people this. They have to be here. They have to open the doors. There's all these different backgrounds. There's actors. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen where everyone knew their role.
Yeah.
And
it's an orchestra.
It worked fluidly. Like it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And because the BG end up knowing what's going on in the scene, they're not reading the script, but we tell them, here's what we're doing today. This is the scene. Here's what we need you guys to do. Got it. Lock in. And they've been a part of this show for so long that they understand the assignment and they know what's going to make the show better. They can't sit there and just be like, they got to give it all. They got to push it.
You got to be into it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We've said it once. We've said 1,000 times. The Chosen has the best background. And we do. And Mitch and I were just talking about this yesterday on set, and we were like, which day has been our hardest out of all the seasons, with background specifically? Mm-hmm. And we pretty much said the hardest one was Ramah's death scene, because they had to be so involved, because they had to be pushing you guys, and then they had to step. There was moments where they had to be like, step back, and they had to be pushing.
Sword gets pulled out.
Yeah, there was just so much involvement, and we're all packed into like one spot right here. We're all in this little space, and it's like, we got to make it work. That background was just, I mean, it had to be perfect, and it was. Cool.
We have background this season that are holding torches, and they have to be strapped to rigs, and the stunt guys are working through them, and I'm always worried about it. I look over, they know now, the stunt guys and the BG know each other now. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, David, come on over, strap up, yep, get him ready. And he's like, all right, I'm good.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's
I
so
didn't know
cool.
that. That's actually wild.
They know our crew.
There's also, season 2 with the pool Bethesda. I'll never forget the background actors that wanted to get into the water.
dude.
I heard about that.
I will never forget
Forgot
about that.
Yeah.
So that definitely goes down in history as what our background.
It was like
willing
very cold
to-
temperatures.
To be clear, it was I think it was just under 50 degrees that day, and the water was definitely colder than that. And when we were doing all the background extras going into the pool of Bethesda, and buddy, they did it every take. I mean, I don't remember how many times we did it. It was at least 7 to 10.
Yeah.
Because we had lots of different angles, and they just kept going in there. And we had a heating room; they put them back in it, but they were loving it, man. They were committed. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just like it was cold tanking before cold tanking was cool.
Basically, yeah. And like for people who don't know who watch the show, you're not shooting this at like noon when the sun is out. This is one of the first things you're shooting for the day, where call times are at 6 a.m. Give or take. So you're
Maybe
first,
earlier.
maybe even earlier. You're right. Yeah,
Depends on what the sun's doing that day.
100%. So it's not easy to do this kinds of stuff. I mean, I've heard of actors who say, like famous actors who've said they love working on sitcoms because sitcoms are the coziest jobs because it's 9 to 5, it's in an air-conditioned studio, and you're rehearsing Monday through Thursday and then shooting the show on Friday.
Wow,
So it
sounds nice.
sounds nice, dude. You got
nice.
really nice conditions, and then
Making dinner reservations afterwards.
100% are going to watch your kids, recital or something like that. Whereas what we do here, we are out in the wilderness. If you see an actor or somebody like that looking like they got bit by a spider, it's probably because they actually got bit by a spider from sitting in the dirt all day. So it's
overnights.
It's overnights. Yeah. It's everything, dude. It's filming in the sun with humidity and 103 degrees, and electrolyte packets every couple hours.
I heard about on the set of Gladiator 2 where they had 8 to 9 cameras going at once, and then
wild.
The actors have each their individual cooling tents where it's set up with Wi-Fi and televisions, and it's all blowing at them at
Don't
once.
give Joey any ideas.
Must be nice, dude.
I'm saying like
Pedro Pascal must be nice, dude.
and I'm saying like
That's
they do 2 takes because they have 8 cameras going at once. In the credits, it's like instead of our show where it's like A cam, B cam, sometimes C cam, G cam, H cam, J cam. We're like, no, we're in it together. It's like our actors are with us. Like, you are doing these scenes with us. You're up from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, getting hair, makeup, everything in the weeds. There's not another project like the ones we're doing now. And to say it again, our background get it because they are in it with us. Like, they're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning for an hour drive to get there at 4 o'clock to start that and wait all day to get on set. It's
Let's not brush past the cooling tent here for a second. We are on Amazon now, so just saying.
and we like to thank our sponsors for today's video, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Joey has requested his individual tent with Wi-Fi and AC.
I should not have said anything.
Listen, just throwing it out there.
We're gonna have to cut
cool.
3 PAs.
Oh man, I have to take employees out. That'd be terrible.
Do you like to speculate on future seasons before you get there? Like, have you thought? Did you think about 6? And right now, are you thinking about 7 on what it might be?
Not necessarily. I mean, of course, within the source material, within the New Testament, there are, of course, specific moments that are iconic moments that are coming up. So I do think
Because Thomas is kind of a meme, in some ways.
Yeah.
So that moment is still to come.
What's funny is the amount of doubting jokes that I get from people, where it's like, at least make it something creative and I've never heard before.
So you haven't heard any good Thomas Downing jokes? Not a good.
To be honest, no, I haven't.
All right, well there you go. So anybody out there's got to.
I feel like if Mitch was
Fill our
here, he would
comments.
probably just be churning him out right now because Mitch is a witty
Mitch.
and punny machine.
Yeah,
But
it's always just been like, did you doubt that you were gonna have fun on this project? I'm just like, All right, pal.
Gwen would
Next-
find something right now.
Next question.
Quit the pun.
I don't know. Give me something dark, dude. Give me something that you would never have said before. Or like that's where my humor lies. So, challenge to you: if you are gonna make a doubting joke, really go there.
I mean, I doubt that any of our comments could do it.
All right. Thank you for having me on your show. This has been a lot of fun for me, and I'm very grateful to all you guys for what you do on the show and what you do for us. And I know the show is coming to a close eventually in this next year, which is bittersweet. But I really, really hope that my career leads me to working with all of you guys again.
Oh man, that was like,
That's awesome.
man, you coming
Joey.
from the heartstrings,
Genuinely,
Joey.
genuinely.
Coming for that.
Well, Joey, again, thank you so much for being here. It's so much fun having you on and just having you on set and just goofing off with you every once in a while. It's just so much fun.
Always.
Yeah.
Always, dude. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you for having me. And thank you to all the fans for always supporting us. We love you guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, we have Mr. Joey Vahedi on the show with us today, and Jordan Roby is one of our backup bros today. And because of this episode is so significant, Roby has doubled for Joey quite a few times, but we won't say where. I just immediately, we're not supposed to talk about it at all.
Went right into it. We're not supposed to talk about it at all. No, like no intro, no icebreaker.
Speaking of which, we got to shout out to Willie. Willie was very upset.
Dude,
Willie
Willie is
couldn't be
not
here. Yeah,
happy.
because Willie's normally on here.
Can I say one story about Willie?
Oh,
really
we'd
quickly?
love to hear Willie's
okay.
story.
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely.
I introduced Willie. First of all, was the first guy I ever bonded with in season 1 because one of the days that I was supposed to be working, I was held in my trailer for, I'm not kidding, like probably 9 hours or
Kinda like
something
yesterday.
that. Kind of like yesterday, actually. Yeah.
It still happens.
You're not wrong. Yeah,
We're not going to talk about that.
but this was my first week, so I don't know anybody, but Willie and I bonded a lot because he was the PA at base camp at the time, so we're just chatting about life and a whole bunch of things, right? And recently I talked to Roby about this app that I've been using called Whatnot, which is a live auction app. You know, I'm very big into Pokemon, like so I look up Pokemon cards and stuff like that. And
this.
Roby tells me that Willie works on Whatnot, and I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, he streams on Whatnot. He works with this
Coin
Cowboy, yeah.
this coin streamer,
Coin Cowboy.
Coin Cowboy, exactly." So when I asked Roby, like, give me the name of this thing because I want to go into one of his streams and mess with him one time. So he gave me the info. I looked it up. I saved the next future stream, and then it popped up on my phone. And I immediately went in. And I'm not going to say what my username is just because I don't want people to know. But I went into the stream and I typed it. You can type into the chat so they can speak to you live while you're chatting in the chat. And I said, "Hey, just curious, do you have the Come On Somebody coin by any chance?" And Willie's reading the comment and he goes, he says the username. "No, we don't, but we'll have some Come On Somebody shirts pretty soon." And I said, "Oh, okay, that's a bummer. I was really looking for the Come On Somebody coin." And he keeps going on with the stream. And then there's another just like inside joke where Willie used to say I was raised in the coal mines. He used to just say that all the time, right? So then
Of course.
I typed into the chat like he goes, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm not anybody, man. I was just raised in the coal mines." And he stops for a second and he goes, "Username, hold on, man. Do I know you at all? Like, who are you?" I said, No, I'm just raised in the coal mines. I'm a nobody." And he goes, What are the first what are the initials of your name? I need to know who you are." And he's trying to explain to this chat of 40 other people, being like, "I'm sorry, everyone, like, there's an inside joke here. Like, I don't know who this is," while he's auctioning off coins.
We're going to get him fired.
Yeah. And then eventually I say my initials are JV. And he goes, "Son of a gun! I know, oh my God! Like, I had a feeling it was you. This is crazy, guys. This is this. Like, well, you know." He starts talking about it, and it's just I have it screen recorded on my phone. It's one of my.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's one of my favorite.
Awesome.
It's one of my favorite moments.
3, 2, 1, 15 seconds, sudden death. We're gonna start running through some of these coins. Oh, okay. Oh, son of a gun, I was raising the coal mines too.